Hi, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. So originally today's video was going to be a Chantel react, but if you've seen my last video, you know that I'm a little bit done with her right now. Eventually I will get back to her. I'm sure that the loss is still really fresh for me, so it's a little hard for me to react to Chantel without just being furious at her. So I'm gonna take a few days. I scrapped the video that I had. Most of it was just me ranting incoherently and being mad at her anyway, and I don't think anyone wants to see that. So while we take a break from Chantel Marie and Amberlynn, who has mysteriously disappeared, I thought it would be fun to do a video that I've actually had planned for a little while, but never actually got around to filming. This is going to be a what I eat in a day review, and particularly I wanted to focus on bigger YouTubers, and by that I don't mean in terms of sub count, I mean heavier individuals. The reason for that is, if any of you guys are familiar with the channel Abby's Kitchen, she actually does something similar. She talks a lot about different YouTubers and their diets, what they eat, and she gives her own professional opinion as a dietitian. The problem with Abby's channel is that she focuses only on thin people. She focuses only on very fit people, and she has a very, very Haze positive point of view. If you aren't familiar, Haze is health at every size. I said this before in one of my earlier videos. I am all for body positivity. I think it's a fantastic movement and its core tenets are nice. But I don't believe in Haze. I don't believe in fat acceptance. I don't believe in Haze. And that's why I want to focus on larger creators. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I am not a dietitian. I am not. I don't have that qualification. But I am very good at researching, I think, or at least pretty good. And I just kind of want to go through what they're eating. And if you are someone who eats similarly, maybe there's a couple of tips and tricks that you can pick up that will help you eat a little bit better, that can help you feel a little bit better. And maybe you will see some weight loss down the future. Though that's not, of course, always the tenet. Not every heavy person is trying to lose weight, right? That's been true for me in the past. No matter what my weight was, I wasn't always on a diet. So I wouldn't appreciate it if someone came at it from that point of view. But eating healthfully and eating to lose weight are not synonymous with each other. And that's kind of what I want to focus here. It's just to improve what you're eating and how you're eating, so you're eating a more balanced, complete diet. This is purely for entertainment. I am not diagnosing anybody. I am not, advising you on any particular way to eat. But if you eat very similar to some of the people that I want to talk about, you might want to consider switching your diet up a little bit, adding a couple of things, taking a couple of things out, something like that. If you have the availability of talking to a dietitian, then please do talk to a dietitian. But the reason I make these videos is because not everybody has that availability. Not everybody has healthcare. If they have healthcare, the dietitian might not be covered, or if they have a dietitian covered, doesn't mean they're going to be able to get an appointment. There's a variety of different reasons why you can't speak to a healthcare professional about this. And that's why I want to make these videos. It's so that even if you don't have that availability, you still have information available to you to make the most healthful choices for your meals. Once more, I'm speaking about this from the point of view of someone who does research and who's been a professional fat girl and an ex-fad dieter for as long as she can remember. And I kind of wanted to give you my opinions on what I think could be done better, how you can make small changes that will hopefully add up to long-term sustainable changes in your life that will help you lead a healthier and happier future. Today I want to talk about Danielle Mcallister. She is a plus size YouTuber. She has a fantastic store. I've taken a look at some of the pieces she has on there. It's a clothing store. They're beautiful. She had masks earlier. I don't own anything from her store, but everything looks beautiful. She does make a lot of this stuff by hand. Very talented young lady. And she has a wicked dry sense of humor, so I really like her. I personally really think that if she was somebody that I knew in real life, she'd be the kind of person that I would try really hard to be friends with, because she, I think, exudes a lot of just low-key, cool, positive vibes. You know what I mean?
Good morning, everybody. It is 10:15 in the morning on a Wednesday, and as is always the top request for every time I ask you guys what kind of video you want, you always say a what I eat in a day. And this time you requested a what I'd eat in a day in isolation, which I'm not gonna lie, hasn't really changed all that much from outside of isolation. Like, yes, I probably had a lot more fast food, and now hitting up the McDonald's drive-thru on the one day I'm allowed to leave the house a week because I have to take my sister to a medical appointment is like, makes me tear up a little, getting to eat McDonald's. This morning I'm drinking my Frappuccino. It's a homemade version, not nearly as good. I'm just gonna prop you up, I guess. We're currently sitting on a package of collagen peptides that my mom bought because she's doing keto right now, which makes her feel better, but definitely is not for me at all. So I will leave the recipe for this in the description. I got it off of Pinterest, so I can't take any credit for it. I'll even link it if I can find it again. I'm not even sure I saved it to my recipes. I just screenshotted or downloaded it. It's 2 cups of ice. If you want a venti, you need 2 cups of ice. So 2 cups of ice, half a cup of milk, half a cup of coffee, and I put in 4 tablespoons of the Starbucks caramel flavoring. My mom bought it for me last week when she went grocery shopping. She bought it through the drive-thru and everything too, because none of their actual, you can't go in. And she was having a hard time finding like the, you know, the other, like whatever it's called, the other kind. So she was like, what? I'm just gonna go to Starbucks and ask them. So she did that and she got it for me, which was like the nicest thing ever, because when I'm only allowed, well, I'm not that I'm only allowed, I only go to Starbucks once a week now, and it's been like 3 weeks now. We're in our 3rd week, or at least I'm in my 3rd week. By the time you watch this, it'll be the end of the 3rd week for me. So this is not perfect. I did not put enough coffee in. I think because I made instant coffee, because I don't need like a whole cup. What I did was I made instant coffee, but I made it kind of weak. So I think I need to make it stronger next time, because it's very caramelly, and I never thought I'd say this, but it's almost too caramelly. Last time I made it with not enough caramel. Now there's too much. So the recipe calls for only 3 tablespoons of caramel, but last time I made it with 3 and that was not enough either. So anyway, I'm also working on breakfast. I have some shredded hash browns that I am cooking up. All right, this is my breakfast. This is a what I like to call a breakfast quesadilla. So inside we've got 2 fried eggs. They were soft fried with some cheese, a little bit of my hash browns, and then, you know, fried in the frying pan. My eggs did pop open and leak a bit. Then we've got some shredded hash browns with a bit of Parmesan on top. I just like the way it tastes. And then of course the ketchup to go with it all.
She's starting her day off with a homemade Frappuccino and breakfast. Yay! I love breakfast. I've noticed for myself and for a lot of other people that I've spoken to, that I've watched What I Eat in a Days for, especially people who have a slightly more problematic history with eating, is that if you don't eat a breakfast, if you don't eat like a satiating breakfast, then later on down the day, you are much more prone to binges. I feel like it's something about saving your calories, which is a mentality that I know a lot of us, myself included, have had in the past, where you try to keep your calories for later on in the day so you can have a heavier lunch and heavier dinner. But what it ends up doing is that you get so hungry by the time you get to lunch or your first snack that you can't control yourself and you end up eating a lot more. So I think if you really, really want to try and make sure that you're not doing that, that you're still eating the way that you personally want to. Getting something in for breakfast is good. Now, I know breakfast tends to make a lot of people nauseous. What I have found works for me, because I'm one of those people, is if I get up first thing in the morning and I have a little bit of coffee and I have like dry toast with it, something very, very mild and not flavorful, the like a fiber-rich toast will really help settle my stomach. And then I wait like about an hour or so, and then I can eat something with protein in it and maybe a little bit of fat, and that will help a lot. Trying to go in with really heavy, flavorful foods in the morning just tends to upset my stomach even more. I think that overall, this is not a terrible meal, right? The coffee is probably gonna have a lot of sugar in it, anything from Starbucks. I have a Starbucks toffee nut, I think, creamer, and it's delicious and so sugary. It's really sugary. If you want, what you could do is what I kind of like to do is I do a half and half. So I make a cup of coffee, I mix it with 1 cup of unsweetened chocolate milk. I think it's the Almond Breeze kind. And that will give me a lot of calcium. It also gives me a lot of flavor. And then I'll add in either a little bit of sugar or a little bit of honey or a little bit of sweetener. Most sweeteners, research has shown, are safe for you. I personally like erythritol. I'm very sensitive to weird flavors in my food. And erythritol is one of the only ones that doesn't have a weird taste to me. I cannot stand stevia. Oh my God, I hate it so much. But erythritol does upset your stomach. So take that as you will. But a good way of doing it would be, if you are sensitive to erythritol and it upsets your stomach, is to do a little bit of sugar and maybe like a drop of a sweetener that you do like. So monk fruit is a good one. Stevia, you guys already know. Aspartame, Splenda. There's a ton of them on the market. Allulose is a brand new one that I've tried, and that one is really good, and it does not upset my stomach at all. So maybe you could give that a try if you'd like. The breakfast itself looks fine. The eggs are good, you know, eggs are a great source of protein and fat, so I'm really glad that she's having that. Protein is really important to have in the morning. What I will say that if she switched her tortilla out for a whole wheat one, she'd get a lot more fiber in, and that will probably help keep her satiated for longer. Also, there's not a single green thing on that plate. There's not a single vegetable or fruit on that whole plate. So maybe try pairing your breakfast with like a couple of cuties or an apple, and, you know, throw a little bit of spinach into your egg wrap. Maybe chop up some bell peppers and onions and throw that into your hash, you know, or even into your wrap. I think all of that would be fine. Her breakfast itself is not too bad. I think it's a little bit on the larger side, but if you're a larger person, you can have a larger meal, right? Even if you're not a larger person and you feel just really extra hungry that morning, have it. That's totally fine. That's totally awesome. But try and have a little bit more balance, because there's a lot of carbs on that plate. There is not a lot of fiber in any of the foods that she's eating. There's no vegetables in that. So you're not getting a lot of the micronutrients that you need. You don't have to match those every single day, but trying to get at least some in every meal ensures that overall, over the course of a week or so, that you kind of even out, right? Being chronically under for micronutrients is really genuinely bad for you.
All right, I am checking in. It's like 10 minutes to 1 p.m. It looks really nice outside. It's good to see the sun. It's been raining a lot lately. I did eat a yogurt, so this is just a Oikos Greek yogurt, the lemon meringue flavor. They're really tasty. We don't get them a lot. They're kind of hard to find right now, but delicious. I also brought an apple downstairs with me to eat as a snack later, but I have not eaten it because it was in the fridge and it's too cold to eat right now, so.
She's had her breakfast and now she's having her first snack of the day. She's brought up an apple, but as she mentioned, she doesn't really eat that because it's too cold. I feel you. Exact same problem. I cannot eat cold apples at all. It hurts my teeth so bad. I'm a baby. I have very sensitive teeth. But the yogurt is a great choice. It's got, you know, it's a full fat yogurt, so it's got a good amount of fat in it. It's got a good amount of protein in it. There's no fiber, which would be another kind of, you know, thing that I think you should try and look out for. Try and make sure that every single one of your meals has like fat, it has protein, it has a little bit of carb and fiber to it, and that'll kind of make sure that you're like full throughout the rest of your day. Also, crunchiness. I know that's not a thing everybody likes, but crunchy foods will generally keep you more satisfied. So if you're thinking of having like a yogurt, a really good pairing for that would be like a muesli or like the Kashi fiber cereal, whatever. You can add a little bit of that to the top, like, you know, quarter cup or whatever to the top of your yogurt, and I'll give you both that crunch, and it'll give you a little bit of carb, and it'll give you a lot of fiber, and that'll help keep you satiated for a little bit longer so you don't get like super hungry. Plus, trust me, have more fiber in your diet, and when you go to the bathroom, your stomach will thank me. Trust me, no one wants to hear it. It's gross, but it's truth. It's life.
All right, this is what I had. This is my order from, I ordered from Skip the Dishes. I got Denny's. Denny's is one of my very favorite places to go to when I just need, you know, something chill, and I'm there enough that I know a bunch of the staff now. So I got a chocolate peanut butter milkshake. Then over here, which it's all gone now, so I got a sampler, so with chips and queso, seasoned fries, matzo sticks, and chicken strips. And then I also got a slice of lemon cheesecake, but they put chocolate sauce on it, and it's never come like that before. I put it in here. Let me see if I can... Look, I tried to eat it, but there was chocolate sauce all over it, which was so gross. And now I just have a half-eaten slice of my favorite cheesecake from there. So yeah, that's fun.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is the really problematic meal. There is nothing wrong with occasionally having a treat. There's nothing wrong with occasionally having even like a terrible meal, you know what I mean? And by terrible, I don't want to moralize food. I know that's actually a genuinely very big problem, people who have eating disorders. But what I mean is it's fine to have a meal that is less than optimal for you every once in a while. But by her own admission, the staff at Denny's knows who she is. So this is not just an infrequent occurrence. And she also stated in the beginning of the video that her eating habits haven't changed much from pre-pandemic times, and that she goes out once a week to do this. This is a massive amount of just calories in one meal. And it's not even just that they're calories from one meal, and there's a lot of them, right? It's not just a matter of numbers. It's a lot of bad calories. The sheer amount of calories from fat in that milkshake alone are ridiculous. I've taken some notes. I'm going to read those for you. That milkshake has 73 grams of fat and 102 grams of carb, right? And that's not necessarily a terrible thing to be very high in carbs, but 83 of that is refined sugar. That entire milkshake is 1,190 calories. For a moderately active, you know, average weight, height woman, that is about half of her daily allotment in just that milkshake. If it was a very infrequently thing, that's fine. But having that milkshake is awful. It's awful for you, and it might lead to a lot of, you know, weight gain. The sampler platter is another one of those things. It's about 1,600 calories. I will, of course, throw all the nutrition facts as I find them up on the screen so you guys can take a look yourself. But that is a lot of calories in one meal, and it's all fried food, right? It's all heavy, oily, greasy food. And once more, there's not anything fresh in there. There's not any vegetable in there except for a little bit in the onion, I guess. I would really recommend that if you do want to go out, get whatever you want, eat whatever you want. That's not an issue. But try and pair that with like a vegetable. Try and pair that with like something you like. So like mashed carrots is something I personally really enjoy. Peas would be a great one. Or I love me a good charred Brussels sprout, but you know, not everyone likes that. So if you want to do that, something like that, that'll add a little bit of fiber to your diet. It'll give you once more those micronutrients that you could be lacking in your diet otherwise, and it'll help you just generally feel a little bit better. In total, as it stands, this meal is like 3,000 plus calories. That is insane. That is an insane amount of calories to eat in one meal in one sitting. And the fact that a lot of those calories come from oil is just a stomach ache waiting to happen.
All right, I'm just checking in. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm just gonna eat this apple that I brought downstairs earlier. I'm about to, in less than 10 minutes, hop on a Zoom call, hence the makeup, the straightened hair, looking like I have my shit together, and a clean shirt. I also have a cardigan because my room gets kind of cold, but I'm talking on this workshop about how to use Canva, and what that looks like, so, and how to like batch your content and stuff like that. I haven't really prepared, to be honest. It's all off the top of my head, mostly because those are things that just sort of come naturally to me. So anyway, I think this might be the first time that I have put on makeup in well over a week, I think, maybe. I go through like fits and spurts where I love wearing makeup, and I do love wearing makeup, but I'll put it on every day and then I won't for a couple of weeks, so it's weird. Also, being able to see my eyelashes when I blink is weird. Well, that's a look I wasn't... That's better. Okay, I'm just coming on to end the video. I didn't end it last night because after my Zoom call, it was like 9:30 when I got off the call, and I wasn't feeling that well. I didn't eat any dinner last night, so I ate my Denny's at like 3:30, and by the time I got off my Zoom call at like 9:30, my stomach wasn't feeling very good, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't the Denny's, but you know, I haven't eaten a lot of fast food in the last 3 weeks, or a lot of like deep fried foods, which I did yesterday, and so my stomach was probably not so used to it, which I feel like I've built up an iron stomach after all the fast food I've eaten. So yes, I am wearing the same shirt as yesterday. I wore it for 2 whole hours, and so I'm gonna wear it again today. So anyway, just coming on to end the video, I wanted to just let you know, yes, this was what I ate yesterday, I guess. I've already eaten something different, completely different today. Feeling completely different today. And so while this is something I ate, it's not what I eat every day. I don't really have a routine in terms of what I eat. Today I've already eaten mini eggs. I did eat like a real breakfast with like a couple of eggs and some hash browns and stuff.
So I said in my last video that it's a stomach ache waiting to happen. The way that I want to structure these videos is that I watch the meal that you just ate, I pause, I go look up a lot of the nutritional information, and then I come back and I talk about it. And I like to do that back and forth. It's a little bit of a react, but there's a lot of research that's going into it too. So I did not know that my idea of her eating that meal would actually correlate to her having a stomach ache, but you know, I'm not surprised. A few years ago, I'd gone to a wedding, and one of their appetizers was fried shrimp. Now, I love fried shrimp. I love fried shrimp. They're like one of my favorite things. I ended up eating like a ton of fried shrimp. I was maybe like 13 years old, and I ate, I want to say, an entire platter of fried shrimp by myself, and I ate nothing else at that wedding. And then I felt sick for like 3 days. Eating a lot of fat in your diet can really upset your stomach, especially when it's not paired with anything else, right? Fat is the slowest digesting food of all of your macronutrients. And when you're not pairing that with other foods that can, you know, just help the digestion process in general, like fiber, like maybe protein, when you're only, when you're getting the majority of your calories from fat, it can lead to nausea, it can lead to bloating, stomach ache, all of that fun stuff. So if you're getting something like an appetizer platter, maybe try having, you know, that with vegetables and just try having a little bit less in the whole meal. And then maybe if you want more, you can come back and you can have more later on in the day if you still feel like, you know, oh yeah, I still feel like having more chicken fingers or whatever, you know. But eating all of that fat all in one sitting is not the greatest idea. So she has the apple as her second snack of the day, and then she doesn't really eat anything else. This is not a great meal. This is not a great day of eating, I would say. I don't think it's a great idea to try and force all of your calories into one meal, especially when you're not specifically doing it, or for say something like OMAD. If it's not your intention to be eating that way and you're accidentally eating that way, I think it's worse, because it puts into your mind this like binge and restrict kind of eating pattern, right? That you're eating a mass amount of calories at one time and the rest of the day I'm going to eat nothing or very lightly. Now, I know that's not what she said she's doing. She said that she wasn't feeling very well and that's why she chose not to eat dinner. Totally understandable. Some days you just don't feel like eating, but her food made her feel that way. I know she doesn't believe it's the Denny's. I would very much so disagree. Given the sheer amount of fat she ate in that diet, it's highly likely that that was the cause of her feeling uneasy later on. Overall, her day needs more vegetables. It needs more fruit. It needs more vegetables. It just needs more, I don't want to say unprocessed things, but I do mean a little bit more whole food, right? So I didn't see any nuts and seeds in her diet either. I think that might be a great addition to her snacks. That might really help boost up the satiety factor of it. Even with the apple, that's just like a little bit of fiber and carb mostly. I think if she paired that with like a peanut butter, that might make it a little bit better for her. Just little changes, little tweaks. And what I feel like that will do for her is that it'll help her eat better overall. Having those small changes in your life can add up to big results if you do them with consistency. More importantly, if you don't think that you can do that, if you honestly feel that, you know, I'm going through a rough time right now, I don't want to think about it, I don't have the time to cook, I just am gonna order the same 4 meals or whatever that I want to eat every day. That's totally fine. Sometimes people have a hard day. People have hard weeks and months and years even. I would really recommend that you take a multivitamin. Talk to your doctor before you do so, but just a general multi is a good idea if your diet is less than optimal, if you're not eating a wide variety of vegetables and fruits, because you can really miss out on a lot of micronutrients. And while not the hugest deal to be low on one day, 1 week, or even 1 month, to be chronically low in these can result in very bad things down the line, right? I'm talking nerve damage. I'm talking temporary paralysis. Like scurvy is a big thing that can happen. I know that sounds ridiculous because nobody outside of pirates gets scurvy, but it can genuinely happen to you if you're not eating citrus fruit, for example. That's the whole video. So be brutal. Give me your opinion. Did I do it well? Did I do it poorly? What could I have changed? What information would you have liked to have heard from me? Should I do more than 1 meal at a time? I don't want to do that because I think that I don't want to give the impression that I am much more knowledgeable in the subject than I am. I just want to tell you that if you are eating these meals, how to improve each individual meals for better nutrition. I don't want to try and review somebody's entire diet because, like Danielle says herself, you know, every day is different. She doesn't have an eating pattern. She just eats whatever feels good to her. And I'm not qualified to diagnose anyone, so I don't want to review someone's entire diet. I just want to give you little pointers for how you can improve each meal so that you feel better overall and so that your nutrition is better overall. Love it, hate it, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, leave me a comment on how to improve this video. I appreciate all of the love that I got on the last video that I put up. I will appreciate all of your criticism and thoughts on this video as well. And that will be it for me. As always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace.